Hello, folks. Welcome to Move Daily Talks. It's Tracy Steen, your host, and today I'm welcoming back to the podcast for a second time Amanda Thebe. And today we are calling BS on the idea that women should just survive menopause because we want you to actually thrive. If you followed Amanda for some time, you'll know that she is a powerhouse in the women's health space, a fitness expert, best-selling author of Menopause, and Canada's first workplace menopause consultant. When Amanda herself hit menopause early in her 40s, she had migraines, fatigue, feeling like a stranger in her own skin. She realized then just how badly the system was failing women. So she turned her frustration into fuel. Through her advocacy, her speaking, Amanda is pushing for informed care, strength as medicine, and better support for every woman moving through this major transition. So get ready, folks. This conversation is bold, science savvy, and absolutely necessary. Let's dive in with Amanda Thebe. Amanda Thebe is back with us today. Amanda, thank you so much for coming back on. You've been a guest. It was about a year ago, I think we talked. I would love to know what is new in the menopause space in the last year for you.
Hi, Tracy. It's good to be back. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Where
what's
do we
new? So much,
where
right?
where do we start? I don't even know if it's like what the time scale is, whether it is in the last year, but I don't know about you, but menopause has this momentum now, which I am very happy about because
Yeah.
it's commonplace verbiage now for us all. But I think there's a horse that's bolted, and I think we're
Mm.
struggling to get that horse back in. And where to start? I think one of the things I think that I would like to talk about today is just the fact that, I realize that most women are not getting an opportunity to be on hormone therapy, right? That's something I think we're coaches, we're trainers, we don't give any medical advice, but we know the history, and we know that from 2002, women weren't given hormone therapy, and were having to struggle and suffer through their symptoms. And now we want women to be able to have that conversation. And
Mm.
yes, it's getting better, but the uptake of hormone therapy is still very low. I mean, the numbers we see are like 6%, 7%. I don't truly know. It's quite low.
Yeah.
Right. I actually don't know the validity of those numbers, but that's what we're hearing in the
Hmm.
social media realm. And so to me, there's a huge access to care issue there where, maybe we need more trained doctors. And, there's a whole like systemic thing happening.
Hmm.
But in the social media world, and one of the people I follow call it them designer doctor influencers, which is, I don't know how true that is, but we've got these really powerful voices now in the menopause space that are making women feel that if they don't go on hormone therapy, then they're done for. Cardiovascular disease, having metabolic disorders, um, the Alzheimer's conversation. It's actually become a place where it's quite scary for women if they turn on social media and they hear one of their favorite doctors saying menopause is eating its own brain.
I knew you were going to bring that one up. Yeah, for those of you listening, if you didn't hear that last week on social media, there was a semi-viral claim that basically stated that if you're not on hormone therapy, I had written it down here somewhere. Where is it? That yes, your brain is basically eating itself. And I know that Dr. Jen Gunter and Dr. Sarah Mackay had a live that they went to begin to explain exactly what is happening in menopause. I thought that was such a good little conversation that they brought up because I don't think you're on hormone therapy. I'm not either. And yeah, so for those who weren't, that statement was pretty like alarming, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's not even those that don't want to go on, it's those that can't, right? And
Yeah.
it's really, really worrying when if that's what they're doing to grab people's attention to get them on hormone therapy, it's so unethical. And posing it as, I'm just asking a question, what do you think about this? Is really dangerous as well. And so the research is so mixed, even
Hmm.
those that are very like estrogen can help us against those that we don't think it can, are all saying, all of the researchers and scientists are saying, We just don't know. We
Mm-hmm.
just don't know yet. Might it be something to do with the fact that if you have more vasomotor symptoms? This was at the Menopause Society show that I was, conference, sorry, I was at last week. Might it be vasomotor symptoms that are impactful for women having poor cognitive outcomes? And vasomotor symptoms, for your audience who probably know, are the hot flashes, the cold sweats, the night sweats.
Mm-hmm.
Or might it be our increase in follicular stimulating hormone that sometimes raises quickly? And that's just the hormone that raises when you're in menopause, because it tells you it can't release any more eggs from your ovaries. And so they don't know, they're looking. And if that's the situation, that is maybe to do with vasomotor symptoms, and there's lots of different treatments for that, not just all hormonal. And then all of the researchers and neuroscientists are saying that the brain is adaptable, right? And we see that throughout our whole lifespan as well, that the brain changes throughout all of this. So we have to trust the research. We have to trust the scientists. We cannot listen to people that have crossed the Rubicon. They're doing this for clout. I don't even know how else to describe it, Tracy.
Yeah.
It's just people who I previously respected are now just saying any old shit they want, just so people just really work that algorithm for them, and it's working. I mean, how do we stop that going ahead, Tracy? Like, I shared that clip a million times, and at the back of my mind was like, don't share the clip, don't share the clip.
But you wanted to sort of debunk it, and you wanted to bring some truth around it. So yeah, by virtue of that, you sort of had to share it, right? But you're right. That just propels it into the algorithm, and it makes it more challenging. One of the things that Dr. Sarah McKay said. So again, folks, I would encourage you, if that statement, if that video that you saw, where menopause literally, and they said literally eats its own brain, if that confused you, if you want to clear that up, listen to the live by Dr. Sarah McKay and Dr. Gunther. Sarah said, and she was quoting Mosconi's 2021 study, whether hormone therapy provides protection against cognitive aging and Alzheimer's disease remains unclear. The white matter changes, including volume reductions through menopause, that stabilized post-menopause. None of the studies showed that hormone therapy prevents the brain from eating itself.
Thank you. I mean, that's all we need to say. And in fact, Lisa Mosconi is one of the ones that's looking to see if hormone therapy could be, or estrogen therapy could be, part of the preventative conversation. And if she's doing this research and saying we still don't know yet, and then on the other side, we've got the world's top neuroscientist, Dr. Pauline Mackey, who, this is her life's work, is saying, I actually used to think hormone therapy was the game changer, but I've changed my mind on it because we can see that it's not that simple. And the numbers needed to treat, this is a really interesting fact for like us, like general public, people who don't do the research, right? They created this white paper, and it's Menopause and Brain Fog and Cognitive Health by Dr. Pauline Mackey. Please read it, because that's not the actual title. That's you Google the Google prompts. Yeah. That will reassure you the number needed to treat. So, for example, if one woman was, if 2004 women were on hormone therapy, only one woman would benefit from that. So the
like
number
benefit
needed
in terms of
taking
brain health,
hormone therapy for cognitive protection.
for cognitive
One
protection.
in 2004 women. So,
Wow. Yeah.
if we use those numbers, and she is the leading expert in this, she is the one that people go to for all of their information. This is her life's work, much as Dr. Susan Davis's life work is about estrogen and testosterone and all of those therapies. We have people that have dedicated their life to doing this, and they've changed their stance based on the research as we know it, which is still evolving. And so I just would say to women, please, if somebody is saying that to you in social media, block, unfollow, find reputable resources. And Dr. Sue, actually, I want that to answer your original question 15 minutes ago, Tracy. Some of the other things that we're seeing is people like Dr. Susan Davis is another amazing researcher. So she lives in Australia. Her lab is in Australia. She was at the Menopause show recently giving talks about testosterone And that's another conversation, right? We're hearing women's doctors saying online, those with an influence, saying testosterone could be the missing piece
Right.
of the puzzle, that it can help with libido, brain health, bone health, muscle strength, and that women should be having the conversation about that. And they've even, a group of the influential doctors want to change the name to PET, for progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone therapy instead of menopause hormone therapy. That's not a thing, by the way. That's not a recognized term. Testosterone is something that we lose through aging. We don't lose through menopause. It sort of is really difficult to test in a woman's body because of how the body uses it and reproduces it from DHEA and different other hormones, and then what it does behind like closed doors. If you want to know a little bit more about that, Dr. Jen Gunter and Dr. Susan Davies did a live talk on that, and it's on Dr. Jen Gunter's feed. I actually filmed that because I was in the room with them, so I'm listening to them speak and thinking, this is so reassuring.
Yeah.
Testosterone therapy is indicated only for libido.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not indicated for all women, and it may not be that successful. Dr. Susan Davies did this study, I think 20 or 30 years ago, that said it may be useful in other areas of the body. And it was like a preliminary study she was creating to see if it was worth studying, if it was a valid hypothesis. And that's what influencers are quoting. That's what they are actually quoting in their claims now. We have studies to say it can help with all of these different things. And Dr. Susan Davies has actually gone out on public record and into these people's Instagram posts going, please do not quote this as a valid study. This is my work. We've never been able to reproduce it in 30 years. We cannot reproduce these findings. And menopause testosterone and menopause hormone therapy is only indicated for libido and nothing else. They can't prove anything else.
I'm always so interested. I always go into the comments because I'm like, does the influencer respond? Like, are they responding with, I didn't realize that. Let me change this post. Let me remove this. Let me update this information. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. It's almost like they double down and stick their heels in the mud and just are like, no, this is how it is.
It's exactly what's happening. I do the same thing. And I'll ask the question, like, what's your feelings on this? Like, and nobody, it goes into the void. And so I think that, I really love that there's more people talking about menopause. We need a multidisciplinary conversation. Your podcast is great for that. You have exercise physiologists on. I know you've had Dr. Stuart Phillips, who's going to get an award, I've noticed, for his life's work in this area too.
So great.
We can come at this from all different angles, from a brain health, from a psychological standpoint, from the woman, the patient. We need to have everybody involved in this conversation. And now I find that, unfortunately, we're in a privileged white woman space. It's predominantly privileged white women that are not seeing the social inequities to menopause, that none of us can afford their $5,000 appointments, because that's what it costs to go and see them, between $2,000 and $5,000 in the US, without insurance, cash, that are getting upsold to supplements and unwanted testing. I mean, it's just so predatory out there. And yet, meanwhile, we have women of color. When I was in Texas and I lived there, that didn't have the means financially to even get to their doctor's appointment, even to have a valid appointment, knowing that they're racialized within the healthcare system. Like, it's just, nobody's talking about like that. These social determinants to health, and the reason that number is probably at 6% for uptake is because most women don't get the conversation. And people like you and I can have the conversation because we live in a world of privilege, but there's so many women that don't. And so I get frustrated. I think the bigger picture is being missed. And then in the second part of the conversation, we're starting to make a difference in the other part of the picture, the lifestyle interventions that do matter, that always people just use as a secondary conversation.
Right. Yes, but we know better. That is the time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining, and there is so many lifestyle habits that we can begin to implement that will make such a monumental difference. Can we talk about some of those right now? Yeah, what are you recommending that women put at the forefront? What's the low-hanging fruit?
Yeah, move. Well, after education, after becoming knowledgeable,
Hmm.
and move. I mean, it's exercise is the sort of biggest needle mover in all areas of your life, whether it's your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, whether it's you want to jump onto the longevity conversation, like your health span over your lifespan, like how we age with good quality. Exercise is the biggest needle mover on this. And interestingly, Tracy, you probably know this, that last month was obviously Menopause Awareness Month, and the focus of that month was on lifestyle medicine. So
Okay.
it was really a great opportunity that a lot of the menopause societies didn't lean into, unfortunately. The International Menopause Society did, and they use different factors, and it's the ones that we know, these key tenets of health, that exercise, eating a balanced approach to nutrition, stress management, and sleep. They were separated. And then we had oh, come on, what's some of the others? They've completely lost me. This is a true menopause brain moment. And our mental and emotional well-being and
Yeah.
social connections, all of the things that we take for granted that we really know help join the jigsaw puzzle
Hmm.
pieces together.
Hmm.
And, I think even from my background, and I'm curious to your thoughts on this, Tracy, when I was in the thick of perimenopause, and I've very openly talked about this for the last 8 years, like life was really shit. And most of my time was spent lying on the sofa, feeling terrible, having low energy, depression, to migraines. And the last thing I wanted to do was eat well, move. Last thing I wanted to do was be around people, all
Hmm.
of those things. But it literally was the thing I needed more than anything else, right? I needed to sort of lean into that. And so when women are feeling really dire in their situation, and people like you and I come along and go, you just need to move more and you just need to stop eating shit food,
Yeah.
it can come across as condescending. But what we're saying to you is that I love your expression then, while the sun is shining, it's time to
Hmm.
fix the roof. And it really sums it up well, because it doesn't have to be big. We know this.
Hmm.
You had Dr. Stuart Phillips on saying, we know that like change happens in the smallest ways. And so like for me, that looked like I was a absolute heap of a mess. And my husband would carry me outside and go, we're going for a 5-minute walk. I always felt better after that 5-minute walk. We're talking about small changes like that that can really make a difference. Phone your friend. Don't be alone. Find your community. You have a huge community. This works. It
Hmm.
works because you realize that it's just not you feeling like this. And so the lifestyle side of it, I think, is huge. It gets mollified down. Yeah, and I'm sure you felt the same way in your experience, of course.
Well, because I mean, what are some of the like top questions we get? What are the top supplements that I can begin to use? Like people go more to what can fix this instantaneously. And the real truth is that it's the dripping water on the stone that hollows it out, not through force, but through persistence, says Ovid. My favorite quote there. And
Yeah.
it's true. It's these small, like you said, it doesn't have to be big. It can be our minimal effective dose, as Stuart Phillips says, in terms of increasing bone mineral density, increasing lean muscle tissue, even staving off your vasomotor symptoms. Like there's things that you can do to begin to help with that. And of course, hormone therapy can be part of that, but it unfortunately won't be for everyone. But yeah, it's interesting that I'm glad the conversation is here. We certainly are hearing more about lifestyle interventions and the crucialness of that, especially in resistance training, strength training. So that makes me really happy, you know?
It's interesting. Me too. Like we know the importance of strength training. We know there's barriers to access and entry points based on confidence. Um, you know, symptom status, physical abilities, all of the things. Tracy, you do a really good job of helping people access all of that. And I think that what's happened in that world as well for you and I, we also see sound bites happening out there that really don't fit most of the population. So we're at what, like 85% of women don't meet basic exercise standards, probably more for strength training. Meanwhile, we've got people online saying all women should be able to do 11 push-ups, right? Women should not do zone 2 training. Women, there's no benefit to that. All women should be doing impact training, higher intensity training. That's the thing that we need. And I'm just sat here going, oh, wow, you've
I
just
know. Yeah.
excluded most of the population. And you
Yeah.
and I spend a lot of time in the trenches going, like, what would it look like for you if you stayed the way you are now? What would it look like for you as a woman in menopause, knowing you're going into the second part of your life, if you didn't make any changes to your health? Like, we really get down and we try and move these people out of this like contemplation place where they've got some ambivalence or restrictions, and we're saying to them, we can help open that door for you where it's not scary, where it feels good, where you can meet like-minded peers, and where we can really move the needle on your health. And it is the minimum effective dose. And it doesn't have to look like go and do 11 push-ups straight away, lift heavy shit straight away. It's like seeing the person where they are right now. And that's the bit that frustrates me in this world, because all of those statements about zone 2 hit and lifting heavy shit just miss the nuance so badly. It drives
Yeah.
me crazy.
Yeah, it does. It does miss the nuance for sure. And the thing is, like, you can sort of see, like, in the comments and just in the posts that go viral, it creates a bit of a frenzy in all of us. So we're watching this, especially the person who hasn't done anything, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to start lifting heavy." And they do go to 0 to 60. But into a place and into a range that's not sustainable. The thing is, we don't want to miss the boat. I think that's what's causing this sort of frenzy. We hear this information coming up. We're like, oh my goodness, if I want to live longer, if I don't want to develop Alzheimer's and dementia, I have to do these things. And so what we're hearing is optimal, maybe effective dose versus minimal effective dose. And it's putting everyone in a camp that people can't get to, or they can't sustain anyway. So don't you think that's what's causing this, like, oh my goodness, I got to do this, I got to do that, and we just
Yeah,
fail.
it is a frenzy. I mean, you made a good point about supplements, right? So I think we can equate supplements with a weighted vest type thing. It's a really good analogy. So like,
Okay, go for
if you
it.
take like a big 360 of your life,
Yeah.
the supplements are going to take up like a little pinprick of it, right? The supplements aren't the thing that is going to change your world. It's just not. But people lean into the supplement thing because they've been overpromised, and they think that that's the key. And sometimes like things like that can be the thing that make people think, oh, I feel a bit better. Maybe I can try something else. And so I'm, like, I'm not opposed to things that create an entryway, like a
Yeah.
gateway. And it's the same with the weighted vest. There was two huge influencers that were pushing these. One of them, it was crazy. She came on and she was like, you all menopausal women need to wear weighted vests. It completely reversed my osteoporosis. I've been wearing this for like 2 months, and then a comment in my section below, and I'll send you the link straight to her Amazon affiliate. She had like 8,000 comments. So if say 4,000 of those were like, whatever, are going to go ahead with this, somebody's making bank on this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at what she's just said to you. She's always got an answer for everything. And now she's saying in 2 months, she could reverse her osteoporosis by wearing a weighted vest, and all menopausal women should wear them. Doesn't that give you any red flags? And
Yeah.
it doesn't, because women are desperate. They're
Yeah.
fearful because
Yeah.
they've heard 1 in 2 women are going to get a fracture
Yeah.
within that 10 years of menopause. And so I get it. I get the frenzy. But when I'm literally like out for a walk in my local park just over here, and I see women stomping around wearing their weighted vests, I want to say to them, don't you follow me on Instagram? Please.
Like, you could just go to the gym, you could just lift weights. Yeah. I
Or you could
know.
just get fat and eat cake, and that could be your weighted vest. No, I'm just joking. But I mean, it's just, I see the seriousness of it is wear one if it helps you. If you see that near your back door and it helps you, you put that on and you go for a walk and it makes you go for the
Sure.
walk.
It's your stimulus.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing something where having a heavier upper body might move the needle within your weight training class. I'm thinking burpees, which I hate, or push-ups, which fine, or, you know, like there might be like a condition when it might help, but honestly, that's not going to change your bone mineral density. It just isn't. There's zero evidence to show that.
Yeah. I had Dr. Alyssa Olenek on, and she did such a good job on the nuance. She spent about 15 minutes on the weighted vest conversation. It was so good. So if you are interested in that, folks, listen to that podcast. We also did a reel on Instagram that went viral with her explanation there. And then post that, after that, I did okay, so she said, if exactly what you said, Amanda, if it's going to stimulate you to move daily, that's great. If you can use it in a workout where it's adding resistance in a way that is beneficial and safe for your body, great. So then I did a little like, okay, here's a potential workout you could do in your home gym using the weighted vest as resistance. I mean, we did weighted vests years ago, right? Like that. I mean, we trained for a strong woman competition. It was called Fem Sport. And we had to do explosive box jumps and flip a tire and push a car. So we used the weighted vest in our training to get stronger. But
Yeah,
then
and
it's just funny.
people that
Yeah.
hike, that might wear backpacks and
Yeah.
things like that, just
Rocking.
carrying a heavier weight. They're not completely useless, but they're not the game changer that people want. And that's the problem is within this world of menopause, that's like even the supplement industry alone is 16 billion, right? So we're really talking like it's a hugely profitable space in menopause. And I'm not saying that all of these pills and potions and tricks and treats are useless. Are
Pills and
useless.
potions. I
I
like that.
know, but like that was my Halloween pun. But
Yeah.
but it literally is. There's things that you can do that are free, cheap, that really would help you feel better. And I'm going back to like phoning your friend if you're feeling a bit flat, eating some
Mm-hmm.
carbohydrates if you've got a foggy brain because your brain loves carbohydrates. You know, like just giving
Mm-hmm.
people some like easy wins, right? And taking the pressure off. And so where is it going? I honestly feel like with all of these like crazy fear-based headlines, Tracy, I feel like there's an elastic band that's get a rubber band that's getting stretched and stretched and stretched, and it's going to pop, it's going to snap
Yeah, I think
because
so too.
and then meanwhile, you and I and all of the others who are just balanced and giving really solid information will be in the trenches just saying, it's all right, we got you, right? And I think that that's what keeps me doing this.
Hmm.
I'm sure it's
Mm-hmm.
what keeps you doing this as well,
Yeah.
because you know that your work is making a difference. And I know that what I'm doing is making a difference. And so you've got to almost rise above the noise and, you know, try and just help women through this, like, not like these muddy waters. But it's crazy. I didn't think it would be like this at all.
But the basics do work, folks. I do want to visit the supplement thing for a little bit because in our Move Daily Hustle, which is our public Facebook group, anyone is welcome to join that. We have about 30,000 followers on that right now. And I asked them, I said, Doctor, sorry. I'm so used to that. Amanda Thebe is coming on and is
Oh,
going to be
I'd love to.
talking.
Can you give me a doctorate just for
I
coming on?
could.
That would be so nice. Yeah.
Honorable doctorate given by me.
Yes. Thank you, Tracy. I'll
Um,
take it.
anyway, a couple of questions for sure. We're on supplements. Could you give us the top 5 supplements? What are the top supplements in menopause? So there are some supplements that could help move the needle. What are your thoughts on what those might be? And, or do you even want to have that conversation? Is that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of gone back and forth on these like a little bit based on like the research. And I think that my first thing I would say is, why do you want to take a supplement? Just ask yourself, what am
Yeah.
I looking for? Am I taking it because you know, my favorite doctor has a whole supplement line and she's told me I should be adding turmeric to my smoothie. Are you doing it because you've been told to, or is there something missing? Is it symptomology? Is it energy? Or like, what is it, right? So first of all, ask yourself that question. And then if you really feel like there's something missing, I would see if you can get some blood work done as well, just to see if
Yeah.
there's any real true deficiencies. Like, so for example, I often have low ferritin and B12.
Yeah.
It's always been my thing. So I sometimes have to supplement with that. But I
Yeah.
don't, I do that based on, that's just an example of for me. So find out if what you're looking for and is there an absolute need. And then just like look at some like bodies of work that are organizations like the Menopause Society. What do they recommend? What do like the maybe the nutrition scientists say? You know, we've got a few that you recommend and I recommend. Like, what are we looking at? So just try and get some valid sources for people who don't sell things. That's what I would say. Like, get your examine.com is a resource I often give to women. Examine.com are a third party company, and what they do is they look at every single ingredient, say if it's creatine or if it's magnesium, and they tell you the latest science on it, but you don't need to read the science paper. They give you the headlines. It's been shown to be an amber light for this or a green light for this. So do that too. Okay, so if we come down to the meat and bones of it, the Menopause Society do not recommend any menopause proprietary supplements. And so we're talking about these ones that are blended supplements. In fact, they actually recommend against them. And it's because you don't know the actual quality or level of the ingredients in them. It's almost, I always like to say, it's like mixing, you know, like a bit of sawdust and mouse poo with a few vitamins, and God knows what you're going to get. You actually don't really know because they're not obliged to give you the
That's
ingredient
right. Yeah.
quantity. And supplements aren't benign. There could be cross-contamination, there can be liver toxicity, and so just be careful. So none of the proprietary blended things have been recommended by the Menopause Societies. Some basics that you can consider are calcium and vitamin D. That's what they recommend for bone health. If you're a candidate for like or high risk for osteoporosis, you can get a lot of that from food. Vitamin D is a bit harder, as we know. And vitamin D can also be helpful for the seasonal stuff, or, you know, just if you're living north of the equator type thing. Yep. So I take that. I struggle with depression in the winter, and it's a valid treatment option or part of the protocol, I should say. Other things that people might consider doing are fish oil, and then that's all mixed views as well. A lot of cardiologists are saying you don't need to take it for heart health. You can get a lot of that from your diet as well. And then other things that may be helpful, melatonin, magnesium for sleep. Again, try it. If it doesn't work for you, then, you know, don't keep at it. And then, you know, other things that might be helpful outside of what people might consider supplements are like protein powders, maybe if people like whey or plant-based protein powders. If you're trying to get your protein targets and you can't reach them, you know, I think that they can be a valid place. Creatine, if you're someone who exercises and you feel like it might help with your performance. The data is definitely still out on brain health. It's emerging, and I think we have to stick with that for now. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but like, for example, I take vitamin D right now because of the time of year we're in. I don't feel compelled to take anything else personally. I don't need to take anything else personally. And I really think that when you're investing a lot of money in supplements, and some women are spending like $200-300 a
My
month,
goodness. Yes.
it's like they rattle when they walk, and there's an investment in there that aids towards the placebo effect and the emotional effect of them, right? So if you're, so that's sort of that's essentially my stance on it. But for the first question though is, why do you think you need them?
Yeah.
And then, do you want to get your blood work checked just to make sure that's what you need? Speak to your doctor, speak to a healthcare professional. And then if you're going to buy them, try and get something that's third party tested, and, you know, try and get something that's considered to be safer.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so funny. I go look in your cupboards right now, folks. How many supplements do you have in there that you are not currently consuming? And how much money have you spent on the, you know, the load that is in your cupboard? Yeah, I have cleared mine out. Basically, I take similar to what you take. I am on an iron supplement that is to fight anemia, though, as well. But yeah, some of the proprietary blends that are coming out right now, folks, like something, I think it's called something like Sheatrine, like it's a creatine for females. You don't need to buy that, right? Like if you're buying a supplement, it can be just the basics as well, as Amanda said. Let's move on. I had a few questions again from the women in our hustle group about hormone therapy specifically. And I don't know much about it because I'm not on it. And one of the reasons I'll just explain to the audience, because I know a lot of people ask me this all the time. Are you on menopause hormone therapy? I'm 55. I had a pretty easy segue from perimenopause to menopause. Definitely some hot flashes, some night sweats. Um, that is about it. So not too terrible. Made my way through. Didn't feel like I needed to medicate that because they weren't that severe. I also suffer from aura migraines, so that's something that I have had my whole life. And I had heard at one point that it's contraindicated to supplement with hormone therapy. If you have that, it could make it worse. I don't know. I don't know if that's true at all. But anyway, so some of the things that I had been going through, I'm like, okay, do I really need it? I've had many menopause doctors on here. Shafina Premji was one, and
She's
after
so
telling,
good. Yeah,
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 she's
yeah.
great. She's great. Canadian too. So I had once I sort of explained where I'm at and everything, good bone density because I've been exercising the lion's share of my life. Anyway, she said, I would not jump to hormone therapy for you. And so given all of that, I made and it took me about 2 years to decide, should I go on it? Should I not? And again, because all of the messaging that I was hearing is that, oh, I'm going to miss out on bone density. I'm going to miss out on brain health. I'm going to miss out on muscle tone. I'm going to miss, and I'm like, oh, should I do it? Should I not? Where I landed is that no, I don't need to do it. So that said, I can't really speak from experience because I'm not on it. But some of the questions were, what are the advantages versus disadvantages of hormone therapy, oral versus the patch? Could you give us just some insight into maybe best choices in terms of that for us as females?
Yeah, and I know you have an international audience, but a lot of the menopause societies actually have information guides for you. And when I'm talking now, I'm talking because I know these information guides, and I can even get them to you, Tracy, and you can put them in the
Yes,
resources.
for sure.
Canada's just come out with a really great one as well. And essentially, these guides tell you exactly what menopause hormone therapy is indicated for. They tell you what the contraindications are, because there are some people that can and can't take it. And then the different types of medications that you can try that are hormonal and non-hormonal. And there's some really great non-hormonal ones now for those that are contraindicated. And so the oral and the transdermal, oral is the one that's been studied the most. And so nearly all of the data that we quote to women about risks versus benefits are based on estrogen only oral medication.
Right.
And what's really interesting is most women who take hormone therapy take transdermal with a progesterone, because most women have got their uterus still and you need to take it. And that just changes the outcome completely. But the risks of taking hormone therapy completely outweigh the opposite. Oh my goodness. See, I'm just making sure you're listening. The benefits completely outweigh the risks for hormone therapy. So first of all, I think most women who want to consider it shouldn't go into there thinking hormone therapy is going to cause them breast cancer, because that's not what the menopause societies say at all. They say that if you want to take hormone therapy and you're worried about breast cancer, the risk compared to somebody who's overweight, somebody who's smoking, someone who drinks, is night and day. It's a very, very low risk. And oral goes through your liver. And so that's one of the people, I think that when you talked about migraine with aura, that's one of the contraindications. People who've had DVT, the deep vein thrombosis,
Clot.
all of those things, they will say to you, a transdermal patch would be safer because it doesn't go through the liver and it's still systemic. And so there are very, very safe options for women out there. You may be contraindicated if you have had an estrogen dependent cancer, and if you've had any type of blood clotting. They're the contraindications that you really need to have a full medical assessment and speak to your primary caregiver and any specialist. If you've had a history of cancers, even breast cancers, that isn't an immediate contraindication. That's something that needs to be assessed with your doctor. And so there are lots of guidelines out there. And I would just say to women that the most common type of treatment for women in menopause is transdermal because it doesn't pass through the liver. Okay. And if you have a uterus, you need to have an oral progestin or IUD. You need something to protect the uterus lining so that you don't get endometrial cancer. Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. And then if you can't take it, there are lots of non-hormonal, some new Vesitolin is a new, I may or may not have said that right, new medication that's out there. And it helps with the brain candy neurons, and it can help with menopausal vasomotor symptoms, hot flashes, cold sweats. And so there are lots and lots of options out there, and no woman should suffer.
Yeah, absolutely. What camp are you in terms of vaginal estrogen? Is that, I mean, I have heard from a lot of physicians that can be good and safe for most people, and it should be used or could be used for most women. What do you think about that?
It's such a great question. So vaginal estrogen is indicated for the genitourinary syndrome of menopause, GSM. That's how you'll often heard it talk. It used to be called vaginal atrophy, which is a gross name, but it also doesn't really appreciate everything that happens. And the genitourinary syndrome of menopause is vaginal health, sexual health, and urinary health. Mm-hmm. And vaginal estrogen is indicated as the treatment for that, along with vaginal moisturizers and lubricants, right? So they're like the three goats of treating this. What's interesting about the genitourinary syndrome of menopause is almost all women will experience it because when estrogen declines, that whole pelvic region is impacted, the integrity, the muscle health, the pH levels, and that you're more open to urinary tract infections, bacterial infections, painful sex, incontinence, the list goes on and on. And the vaginal estrogen stays localized, so you can put it, well, it's indicated in specific areas and your doctor will tell you this, but when you use it in the vaginal vulva area, it can help protect against all of the things that we've just discussed. Mm-hmm. And it stays localized. It doesn't get systemic, meaning it doesn't go into the body. And they're actually trying now to get the black box warning removed from it because almost across the board, all of the medical professionals agree that this is a safe, effective treatment for GSM. What I would say to women is if you have any type of discomfort down there, pain with sex, bladder leakage, any reoccurring infections of any type, please go and see a medical professional because statistically, women are so embarrassed about this. They don't go and see anyone until they're in their 60s when it's progressed too far. And the problem with GSM is it's progressive. It's not going to get better. You have to stay on top of it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, some doctors out there in the Menopause Society are saying all women should be on it all their lives. It's very, very cheap. It's very easy to use. If you put moisturizer on, it's no different to like treating the skin area down there. Mm-hmm. And so definitely look into that and don't suffer because it can be very, very painful. And research is showing as well, when women have severe GSM, it can start impacting their mental well-being as well. Mm-hmm. So stay on top of that. I take a vaginal estrogen. I use it twice a week, a small pea size in the vulva-vaginal area. I use a lubricant when I have penetrative intercourse, and I moisturize. Like I literally treat this like my face. It's like and I know I work with Naomi Watts on some things, and her product made me laugh because she's like, everything from scalp to vag needs to be moisturized, and just use that as your philosophy.
Visual. Good visual.
Yeah.
From tip to tail, folks, from tip to tail. Amanda, how can we advocate for ourselves with our physician? Because, well, a lot of the physicians are keen on helping us understand hormone therapy. Some, I mean, we've heard stories. I see it in the comments all the time. My gyno or my doctor said, no, you're not going to do hormone therapy. They're against it. How do we advocate for ourselves?
It's really hard, right? I'm actually working on a project to help build up some resources for women to do this, but I think there's a few little salient points that you can do and key things.
Perfect.
First of all, become knowledgeable yourself.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
give great advice. I try and give great advice, and the menopause societies do too. So just at least have some baseline knowledge about what you're dealing with, because advocacy starts with knowledge.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to suggest that whatever you're experiencing, whatever your symptoms are, try and track these. And you can do, like, if it's vasomotor symptoms, it's very easy to track, isn't it? Because you can just say, oh, I've had like 20 today, I've had 30 today. But like everything, if your sleep's impacted, write down how many hours sleep you've had. And then when you go to your doctor, try and summarize that and just go, hey, over the last month, my sleep, my stress levels, I've had hot flashes. Like, just try and summarize exactly what you're experiencing. Then you're going to say, I want to talk to you about treatment for menopause or perimenopause. It doesn't really matter. I'd like to speak to you about treatment. And then that's when you can provide some of the guidelines that are out there, print them off, take them to your doctor and highlight and say, I would like to speak to you about this treatment, or can I speak to someone that can help me? There's lots of scenarios. Doctors don't believe in it. They think it's all in your head. It doesn't often happen, but it can happen. There's doctors that are worried about the risks still because maybe they're not up to date with their knowledge. And there's others that just don't feel comfortable. And these are all circumstances that happen to all women all the time. So it's within your right to say to the doctor, I would like a referral to a menopause specialist, and ask for
Okay.
that, right?
Yeah. I was just
And
going to ask you that because I've talked to doctors from America, and I'm like, what happens when they still say no, but you want to have this as an option? And they would say, well, go get a different doctor. I'm like, yeah, you can't really do that in Canada because you get your doctor
well,
and that's
I
it. Like, especially in British
I
Columbia.
have some solutions now,
Okay.
thankfully, Tracy.
Yeah.
So you've advocated for yourself. You've gone in and given them a summary. You've spoken to them. You've got 8 minutes. Maybe you've got some questions. Think about the top 3 questions you want to ask in that small window of time. If the doctor won't or can't help you for whatever reason, ask for a referral. And then the fifth option from that is, there are telemedicine companies now in Canada, in the US. I don't know about the UK. They're private, right? And that's
Yeah.
the thing, right? But they are an option. So if maybe you are somebody
Sure.
who does have the means to do that, it's an option. But I'll tell you, there's a
Yeah.
couple, like, for example, there's one in Canada called June Health. And there's also Felix. June Health is $100 to see a nurse practitioner, and they deliver prescriptions to your door. They won't do complex cases, but most menopause cases aren't complex, and they give you follow-up care.
Hmm.
Felix Health are a prescribing service where you can go through a questionnaire and speak to a nurse if you want to for approximately the same price. Some of these you can use your healthcare spending account on. So they're 2
That's
options for
nice.
Canada.
Hmm.
In the US, there are telemedicine companies, but not all are created equal. In all over the world, some of them charge a lot of money. A good example of one is Genev, Gennev, Genev.com, who don't charge a lot of money, and they do take insurance, and they do let you see a menopause trained doctor. It's not a nurse practitioner. All healthcare professionals can help with this, by the way. And so that's another option. There are others out there too, but unfortunately, because they've now started to get a lot of investment in them, they're starting to upsell other treatments like testing and supplements and compounded GLP-1s, etc. And I feel like the ethics of that have crossed a boundary for me. I know those 3 I feel okay about talking about. I don't have any other international ones I can recommend. But I think that can be another good option if you've got the financial means to do that. And then the last thing I would say is, in Canada, they're now trying to create training options for the family physicians to be able to treat menopause, because why shouldn't they? There's no reason why they can't. In Ontario, that's been rolled out now to doctors. And so I would love it if across Canada and the USA, your primary care provider dealt with this. You went in the UK, they've now created a checklist that when you're 40, you go in and they go, are you having these symptoms? Do you think you're in menopause? They ask this as part of it. That's what we need. So change is happening. Stay the course, ladies. Advocate for yourself. Be firm. It's hard when you have to advocate for yourself and you don't feel well. And then, like, if your doctor's not helping, get a referral or look elsewhere.
Such great advice, Amanda. Thank you for that. We're going to close shortly here, but I would love for you, this was another question. Could you share some of your favorite resources? I'm thinking books. I'm going to name about 5 so that we have on our list right now. So if I've already said them, think of other ones if you have any in your brain. Best resources for the woman in menopause to help you through. I'd be remiss if I didn't say Menopocalypse by Amanda Thebe. Brain Health for Dummies by Dr. Sarah Mackay. Again, she's a neuroscientist that was on our podcast. Wonderful information there about what is happening to the brain in menopause. The Menopause Manifesto by Dr. Jen Gunter. The Menopause Brain by Dr. Lisa Mosconi. And I think Why We Sleep by Dr. Matt Walker. A lot of women have issues with sleep. There are so many other things that you can do also in the bedroom, in your environment, that can help with sleep issues. So those are 5 that are on our list. What else have you been reading or would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole ton of really good books out there. And I think that the ones that you've said really work for me. If I was to like move away from like menopause and work more in something like sexual health, Dr. Laurie Brotto has mindful, better sex through mindfulness. And I love it because sex just doesn't happen because you expect it to happen. You've got to work, and desire and libido are 2 different things, and connection with your partner are all things you need to work on. And so that can be a real missing piece of the puzzle for people. So, and she's a guest that you have to have on your podcast. Lead psychologist, and she works out of UBC. So another great Canadian. And so, I mean, I know there's a lot of menopause books out there, but I think that, those 2 cover the basics. I think sleep is an option that, like, even just looking at sleep, when you don't look at your sleep, everything else goes to pot.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one too. And so, and then there's some really great podcasts out there as well. Like yours is a great podcast. I don't tend to listen to a lot myself, but I love the work of Dr. Lauren Colonzo-Semple.
Yeah,
she has a great podcast. And so what I would say though is when you find these people, keep them close and listen to their messaging, and really, really know that science wants the best for you in this, even though people are telling you out there that the guidelines are weaponized or science isn't the only answer. I just feel like at the moment that it's given us the best information that we have at this time, and we really got to respect that. And so I just think that they're great resources. Yours is a great resource. You have good guests on, and so that's probably enough.
That is probably enough to get people started. Absolutely. Amanda, thank you so much for being my guest again today. That was wonderful. Such good information as per usual. So be sure to follow Amanda over on social media. She's on Instagram. What's your handle over there?
Amanda.Thebe. I mean, everything's Amanda Thebe. You'll find me. So that's the best place for now.
And Naya Health?
Oh, so no, Naya Health is something I've moved away from, but I have something up and coming at the beginning of next year, which I can't talk about yet, but watch this space. And it's going to be a really great resource for menopause. So I hope people stick around and follow me for that.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Excellent. All right, folks, thank you so much for listening today. Be sure to check the show notes below. She's mentioned so many links. I'm going to add them there. The books, the telemedicine places, the papers, Dr. Pauline Mackey's content. So look below in the show notes. I'll link those things as well as Amanda's handles. So be sure to follow her. Now, go move daily in your fitness, your wellness and nutrition, and your menopause health. And we'll see you all in the next Move Daily Talks.